ain't gonna say who's on the beat, cause you should know that by now. Ha, check it. Hey yo, music's on my mind, love my 59, 50, I ain't lying. Ha, check it. Yo, this ain't a fitted song, this a get with it song.
Yo, what up?
Yo, BTV Sports. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Yo, BTV Sports, live from Bravery Studios in Garfield, New Jersey. I'm your host, Jason and Ugo, and my co-host, Ugo Boy, is not here, unfortunately. He's off with the... I know. I feel the same way, too. I feel all your pain. But he's doing his thing, getting the bag with the Harlem Wizards. Have a good time, bro, and but definitely look forward to you coming back next week. But we still got to sell the show for you guys today. First and foremost, I want to give a shout-out to all of the supporters that have been watching the show and listening to the show since its inception. We really appreciate all the guests that have been coming through, showing love and support, and you guys are the reason why the show is staying alive. And before we get into everything else, let's get into our sponsors real quick. Here we go, New York Posse. Let's take a second to talk about New York Posse, our partners. New York Posse is a brand that strives to inspire and push creativity culture forward. Check out all of their outstanding apparel at NewYorkPosse.com and follow them on social media at New York Posse. You can also purchase New York Posse apparel at Levitate in the American Dream Mall, as well as Palisades Mall, Butterfly in Yonkers, and many other locations throughout the tri-state area. And also, let's not forget, we got Steve on the boards. What's going on, Steve? So usually around this time in the sports world, there's not a lot going on because we all know that football is king, and there's the regular season is not here, the playoffs are not here, but we got the NFL draft coming up. So usually around this time, it's based around baseball and basketball and hockey. And us being in the tri-state area in New York, unless you're the New York Yankees, there hasn't been really much to celebrate. The Knicks have been a disaster. We don't even know if the Brooklyn Nets are still a real a basketball team. The Mets are the Mets, and it's not really so much of a hockey town, even though the Rangers and the Islanders are both in the playoffs right now.
What a disaster.
Yeah, shout out to Joe Beningo. But this is actually a great time to be a New York Knicks fan specifically. That's why I'm wearing the legendary Patrick Ewing New York Knicks jersey, my favorite Knick of all time. Oh, my God. If you are a New York sports fan and you don't know what's going on with the New York Knicks, then you are not really a true sports fan, because even if you hate the Knicks, and there are a lot of haters out there, you got to know that the New York Knicks are the team right now currently in New York, baby.
Can't wait.
Yes. Shout out to Jalen Brunson, even though he's been a little bit of slump right now. So the New York Knicks are now in the playoffs right now with the Philadelphia 76ers. They're up 2-0 right now. The next game is going to be played in Philadelphia. 2 monster games at the Garden. You know, one of the things I love about Madison Square Garden, aside from being a Knicks fan and also going to concerts, is that that place really shows how much of a basketball town New York really can be. Okay, and looks like we got our first caller. Let's go to the calls. Who is there, sir?
Oh, man, it's my boy.
Hey, what's up, Carlos?
Hey.
What's going on, bro?
I miss you, brother.
I miss you too, man. I miss you too, man. How's everything going?
Everything is great. How about you, man? You guys actually have a team in the playoffs this year.
I know. And you know what? The same could be said about you, because I know that you're an Oklahoma City Thunder fan, and you guys are number 1 in the West? What?
Let's go. Hey,
Yeah.
You know what? Hey, tell them really quick. I know we've talked about this in previous podcasts, but tell them really quick how we became friends.
Okay, yeah. So I used to live in Florida, and he lives in Florida right now. He's born and raised there. He's going to be there forever. That's just his choice, not mine. But anyway, so we actually became fans. We actually became friends, I should say, because we found out that we were not fans of the Miami Heat. Now, what's interesting is that I'm a Yankee fan. He's a Red Sox fan. I'm a Knicks fan. He's an Oklahoma City Thunder fan. I'm a Jets fan. He's a Dolphin fan. But we were unified by our hatred for the Miami Heat, and that's when I noticed, and I was like, all right, I actually found somebody that I could really hang out with here, and it's just been off and running for there, and it's just crazy because every other team that we're a fan of, we're like bitter rivals, but somehow we make it work.
It does, man. And you know what? And I will say this. I remember like the Heat playoffs when we first like really started paying attention to what was going on, and we're like, oh crap, man, we're both fans of the other teams out there, man. And I'm glad that we figured that out together. But I still hate you for the Yankees and the Jets, but I love you deep down inside.
Hey, man, there could be a lot worse things in the world. I mean, you could have been a Patriots fan, so that could have said definitely a much worse.
That is true. We do have some mutual hate and for the Patriots. So, so how do you feel about the Knicks?
Oh, well, I mean, as you can see right now, I'm wearing the Patrick Ewing jersey. I feel good, man.
I saw it. I like it. I like it.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I actually think that they're going to win this series in 5, maybe in 6. But I am a little concerned, though, because Jalen Brunson, our best player, that our point guard that we've been looking for years, is finally on our team, and I feel like the 76ers have been able to figure him out a little bit. They haven't been able to bring out the best of him. I feel like Nick Nurse, who's a really good defensive coach, has been able to contain him, but that just means the next man up for everybody else. Josh Hart has been balling out. DiVincenzo had a big shot in that crazy finish on Monday night. It was amazing. So right now I'm excited. So I have contained excitement, but I'm still excited. This is probably the most excited I've been as a Knicks fan since Melo in 2013.
Well, I mean, you guys are playing a really good team. It's not like it's a wash. You know, like we're like the Heat and the Celtics. I feel bad because the Heat are they're down a bunch of players right now.
I do not feel bad at all.
And I feel bad.
I do not feel bad at all.
Sorry, I know, and I'm from Miami to say that, but
yeah,
you know, but I mean, you guys actually have a good shot. I think you guys can do it for real, and I love to see playoff basketball in New York. Because if they make it to that Eastern Conference Finals, you know it's going to get crazy, man.
Right. So, but also, I know that you're unfortunately a Red Sox fan. So, how are you feeling about your Boston team right now?
I'm actually looking at the TV right now, and we're winning. So, you know what? Right now, I feel really good. But we're also playing Cleveland, who's got the #1 record in baseball right now. And, you know, last night we had a shot into the 8th inning. So, you know, listen, the Red Sox right now, we're playing without Devers just came back, but we had Tyler O'Neill out. I think they just showed an infograph, and there was like 12 or 13 players on there. And I'm like, man, this is rough. But you know what? You guys deal with it. New York deals with it every year. You know how I feel about it.
Right.
And it is what it is, man. You know, injuries are part of the game. But you know what? Hey, they're over 500. We are expected to be the worst team in baseball this year outside of the White Sox. I don't know what they're doing. But the biggest surprise to me this year is the Astros. They're like 7-17.
Oh, my God. Yeah. They talk about the mighty have fallen.
Yeah. I mean, I actually work with a guy who used to play for the Astros, and I mean, I'm telling you, he's like, man, we've been seeing this coming for years, and it looks like it's not going well over there in Houston. So, as long as the Astros don't win, or the Dodgers, I'm pretty happy. And you guys, you know, you guys aren't going to win anyway, so it doesn't matter. But
I mean, I'm surprised with the Orioles. They've been balling out lately. Not just this year, but last year as well. But you know what? It's still a 162 game season. There's still a lot of baseball to be played. We'll see what happens. And we really can't talk our ish until the playoffs come in.
No, for sure. But you know what? With the Orioles, they did it the right way. They built through drafting correctly. You know what I mean? And
they're doing it the way the Yankees used to do it. They're doing it the way the Yankees used to do it, where now it seems like Brian Cashman is trying to pull off his best Billy Beane impression from the Oakland A's, and it's not working.
It doesn't work in baseball, and it didn't work for the A's either. Just because they won in the regular season, they didn't win in the World Series that year anyway. So at the end of the day, regular season is one thing, but playoff baseball is different. Just like playoff basketball, playoff hockey, or even playoff football. It's you know, yes, there's series. It's not like football where it's one game, but you got to be more. It can't just be all about statistics. You got to get your homegrown talent. And not a lot of teams in baseball do that right now. Baseball's a lost, you know, growing a farm system in baseball is a lost art.
Yeah.
And I talk about this all the time with you know, people who enjoy baseball, and it's 100% true. Growing a farm system in baseball is a 100% lost art. Only the teams that do it actually grow. Look at the perfect example is the Diamondbacks. You can use the Tampa Bay Rays, even though they end up losing the guys eventually, but they've just all homegrown.
Absolutely, yeah. No, that's the way that I prefer my organization, or any organization to do it. But like I said, everybody saw Moneyball and they want to be Brad Pitt now. But we'll see what happens. Yeah. But before I let you go, because I got to get to the other callers. So obviously there's a lot that's going on in the draft right now, but I haven't heard a lot of noise about what from the Dolphins or even Dolphin fans. Like, what do you think that you guys are going to do in the draft tomorrow?
I mean, look, this is the first time we picked in the first round since Waddle, which was 22, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to be honest with you. From what I've read and heard, we're going to go defensive tackle. But to be honest with you, I had this conversation with someone today. I don't know if that's the right move to go, because we just signed a bunch of defensive tackles. But, you know, we did lose Wilkins. So to be honest with you, I think it's best player available. You know, because you can always use a third wide receiver. You can always use another linebacker. But O-line's always, you know, the Dolphins haven't had a good O-line since 1964. So that's one way to look at it too. So.
Yeah, all right. Well, anyway, Carlos, thank you for calling in, man. Really appreciate it. We got to get to the other callers, but I love you, bro. Can't wait to see you soon, and we'll talk again, bro.
All right, brother. Love you, man. Have a good one. Bye.
All right, you too, brother. All right, 862-621-9536 is the number to call in. Love that guy. We got a lot to talk about today. We got to talk about the Knicks, and it looks like we have another caller right now. Let's go. Who is there, sir?
How are you, Jason?
Hey, who's this?
Oh, this is Ray Cuyazo from Bomba Live, brother.
Hey, what's going on, Ray? How you doing, brother?
I'll tell you, these Knicks fans, all of a sudden, all your Knicks fans are my besties now. You want me to call your podcast?
Yeah.
You want to engage? I know the Sixer fans in your life are like the little brother you can give noogies to. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, actually, you're actually the perfect person to talk to right now, because I know that you're a proud Philadelphian. I don't know if that's how you call you guys, but you're obviously a Sixers fan, and my team, the Knicks, are going up against you. We're up 2-0. I know that you have a lot of concerns about the Sixers right now. I don't know if you're one of those people that think that you guys were given an unfair hand at the last couple of seconds of that game. I want to hear from a Sixers fan. I've been hearing from Knicks fans for this whole time for the last couple of days. Let's get a different perspective. So what can you tell me, sir?
Hey, look, man. For the Sixers to complain about the calls, they haven't watched the NBA for the last 30 years. Home teams in the playoffs get calls, especially, a big city environment like MSG. Even without the calls, we still should have won the game. Maxi's got to call that timeout. And most importantly, you got to rebound. This is man's business.
Right.
For Hartenstein, Jason Hart to dominate, especially when that's what the Knicks do. The Knicks, they outwork you, they out you, and we haven't stepped up. When it's counted, and that's what's been so disappointing. Because what do you told in the NBA? You got to have a top star. Embiid did MVP, would have won MVP again, or would have been no worse than second or third. He was healthy.
Right.
You got to have two stars. We have this incredible young boy. And Maxey, I predict that even without him, at some point in his career, he will win a title. Whether it was with Embiid or not, I don't know. He had played a wonderful game. You got to have a better coach. We got Nick Nurse, who's won an NBA championship. We have a pretty good roster. We have, and we still can't get over the hump. It's so frustrating, Jason.
Well, do you think in this particular series so far, specifically with Game 2, do you feel like the Sixers just got a little bit too in over their heads a little bit? They figured that they had this in the bag, so they didn't even need to really fight or waste as much energy, because they were so confident. Even your announcers, your TV announcers, were already calling it like you guys had won the game already, and there was still like 30 seconds left. So I just think do you think that you guys just fell asleep behind the wheel and then something like that happened? Or do you guys underestimated how good the Knicks are, even though you guys have been able to contain Jalen Brunson?
That's the other tragic part of it for a Sixers fan, Jason, is that it hasn't been Brunson. It's been just that general. The Knicks have just been tougher, and I think it really. The Sixers haven't been a very good rebounding team all season, and I've been
trust the process.
About that.
Trust the process. That's what your old GM kept on saying over and over again, and it looks like you guys are.
Look, it's not a bad team. Look, the other thing too, Jason, is that the NBA is just more competitive than ever, bro. You think about teams like the Lakers, the Suns, multiple Hall of Famers, multiple All-Stars. Most likely the Sixers, multiple All-Stars, going to get knocked out in the first round. So it's just the bar is so high, and for whatever reason, and I don't know if it's his body language when he gets hurt. I don't know what it is about the Sixers, but there's just a lack of toughness on that front court, and you just gotta box out. And if we had rebounded decent the last two games, we'd be up 2-0. Forget 1-1. So but I gotta give the Knicks. We got a lot. That's the other thing, is that it's like. We were goofing around about us being your little brother, but the Knicks roster is like our little brother, because all Villanova kids. They're all kids. A lot
that
of
is true. Yeah,
area.
You're not wrong about that.
So so it's like, damn, it's like our little cousins beating us up. I remember when Jalen Brunson's dad played at Temple. We all grew up. He played high school ball here. Vincenzo, they call him in Delaware the Jordan, the Delaware Jordan, because he's like the greatest player ever from the state of Delaware.
Yeah.
So, so it's like these are all your young guys too. So it was a gut punch the other day, brother.
I can imagine, man. But I just want to say this one point, and we could bounce off of this, and I got to get to the other calls in a little bit. But I was really not a fan of what Nick Nurse had to say in the post. I mean, he was talking about how he tried to call a timeout, but the Rays they just ignored it or they didn't pay attention to it. But there's actually footage, there's evidence of him actually thinking about calling a timeout, but he ultimately doesn't do it. So I just felt like the whole thing, and then with Joel Embiid in the post game, I understand he's upset, and I know that's a gut punch that you lost, but you're still a professional basketball player. You got to actually be, you got to have showmanship. You got to show that this is not getting down to you too much. And the fact that he didn't even want to give anybody eye contact, but he was giving out all the answers that he wanted to, and saying that we're going to win this, we're a much better team, we should have won this already. I just felt like that was a really not only a loser mentality, but that was like a really strong look into the soul of Joel Embiid and possibly the entire team going on right now in Philly.
Jason, he's even admitted this. He's going this playoff cycle and the end of the season and getting hurt right at the end.
Right.
He's gone through a lot emotionally and with mental health. I mean, think about it. Of all the other, and that's the other thing, is that he's an incredible player.
He is.
Of all the other,
I would love to have him on my team.
Superstar. Everyone would. And by the way, for Knicks fans, he's a really good guy, and a family guy with his son. His brother passed away young. I mean, good people. A guy you want to root for, and he sees all the other great players of his generation. Jokic got a chip.
Yep.
At least Doncic has gone to a conference final.
Right.
Tatum's gone to final.
Jimmy Butler's been to a final.
Greek Freak already got his chip.
Yeah.
And he hasn't even gotten to the conference finals, and he's going to get knocked out, it looks like, at the first round again. And he has, with Maxey, and a favorable draw. You couldn't ask for a better first-round matchup than a team you match, a 50-50 team. And he's just really frustrated. These injuries are frustrating him. And we're just sad here because it's like everything seems to be in place, and he gets hurt again and a couple bad breaks. And it's like rebounding. Like we're losing because of rebounding. This is like we're going back to like the 90s in the NBA, brother, with the Knicks and those teams,
Absolutely. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I already thought that it was kind of, the reputation of the Knicks when, they're the number 2 seed in the East, and then you have the 76ers that are the 7th in the East, and they were already automatically the underdogs. The Knicks specifically were the underdogs because that's just the stain in the reputation that we have for so long. So it's almost like Vegas is even shocked that we're actually up 2-0 right now when we were actually the second in the East. But, it is what it is. But as far as the game, you guys are the game is back, Game 3 in Philly tomorrow at 7 p.m. I mean, unbiased, what do you think? How do you feel about this game?
No, I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to draw us in again. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if we tie it up and there's a Game 5 in New York, and then there's another tragic ending. So it's going to be they're not going to make it easy for us and just let us die in peace.
Right.
They're going to tease us again. So, no, I think it's going to be competitive. I wouldn't be surprised if we win a couple.
I will say this. I don't think you guys. I will say this. I don't think you guys are going to get swept. I actually got you guys winning Game 3, but I ultimately have the Knicks winning in 6. So, but that's just me.
I think that's probably about right. That's probably about right. I will say this, and not just because it's your show, but if any fan base in the NBA, even though it's big city rivalry stuff, I don't mind getting a break.
Yeah.
You guys Knicks fans are really good fans, knowledgeable. The crowds have been great. Even the celebrities haven't been that obnoxious. So it's been a lot of fun.
Spike's been on his best behavior.
The guys are good guys. That's a hard team not to like.
Right.
Great, excellent coaching, hard work, overachievers. Good character guys. So it's a good matchup. This is the matchup I wanted because I knew it would be these kind of memorable games,
Right, absolutely. All right, well, Ray, listen, I thank you so much for giving your take on the Sixers. Thank you for calling in and supporting the show. Before you go, though, I just want to say 2 things. I want to say that my condolences to you and your family on your unfortunate loss in your family, and I hope everything's going good with you guys. I can't wait to see you back on your show Bumble Live, which I think is a fantastic show and everybody should check out. And for anybody else that's listening, tell us where they can find you on social media and everything else.
Yeah, so at Ray Collazo _speaks on social media, and then Bomba Live and Bomba Live PR. We have if you like Jason's content, you're gonna really like our content, and a lot of Philly Latin soul and a lot of good conversations from personal development to the political stuff that I'm a part of, and just our take on life from our perspective. So appreciate you, Jason, and after this basketball stuff, we'll get into the baseball too, because my Phillies, on the other hand, I think are going to show people something this year. So there's always something to talk about on the sports side as well.
Oh, I mean, listen, I never count out the Phillies because they got Bryce Harper and they're a gritty team. They went into the World Series not long ago, so yeah, it's going to be an interesting. But we wait till summertime because that's when baseball really takes off, in my opinion.
Who do you want the Jets to draft tomorrow, brother? That's the question.
Honestly, I they've been saying Brock Bowers, but I don't think we really need a tight end. I would love Joe Alt if he's there. We need an offensive tackle because I know we revamped the O-line, but these are older guys and we need healthy guys and we need guys that are going to be here for the long run because a lot of these guys are on 1-year contracts. So I would definitely say offensive lineman. Other than that, just pick the best player possible.
Hey, at this point, it's if you could put Rodgers in bubble wrap, so I think you're right.
Yeah.
Anything to protect Rodgers is the priority, and I think I think the Eagles should do the same thing.
Right.
Lane Johnson is getting older, and we've got to start that succession plan at right tackle now. To me, and we're going to take it. We took a hit with Kelsey retiring, so
yeah,
the O line. If you don't have your lines together, the other stuff don't matter. So I think that's a good thought.
Right. All right, Ray. Thank you so much, man. I'll catch you next time, brother.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
All right, man. 862-621-9536 is the number to call in. Thank you to Ray, and thank you to callers for calling in. Thank you for Hassan Reddick, by the way, Ray. I know that you're a big Eagles fan and so on and so forth, and we needed a pickup, and you're also welcome on Bryce Huff. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, 862-621-9536. We're going to talk a little bit more Knicks if we can, and then we'll get into baseball a little bit. I have concerns about the Yankees, and the Mets are actually looking pretty decent right now. And then, of course, we got to get into the NFL draft, and we got another caller right now. Yes, sir. Who is there?
Yeah. Yo, what's going on, man?
Hey, is this the real Mozo?
You know the vibe.
Hey, real Mozo, what is going on, bro? Oh, by the way, if you're watching right now, you see the jersey? Go New York, go New York, go!
Let's go New York Knicks, baby.
Oh, my God. So, Game 2, what a thriller. I didn't think that they were going to pull it out because I'm a Knicks fan and I've seen this movie over and over again. But I feel like M. Night Shyamalan actually came in and rewrote a twist ending. So, just tell us your overall feeling about Game 2, how it was shocking. I'm surprised you actually weren't at the Garden if you actually were there. But also that, and how do you feel about Game 3 going into Philadelphia?
Man, all I'm gonna say is this, man. I know people like to hate on the Knicks, but if you like basketball and you've been watching basketball, you gotta love the way this team plays. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just a tough team. They don't quit. They don't give up. Like, no matter who we play, no matter how far we get into the playoffs this year, there's a team that never quit. And I feel good going into Game 3, man. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I've seen the Sixers. The Sixers just aren't. They haven't beat. They have Maxey. They have two guys that are really, really good, and one of them is in 100%. But the other guys around them, they're just not good enough. Tobias Harris he doesn't produce.
He doesn't scare you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, in order for them to win a game against us, one of those guys have to have a great game. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have to step up and have a game. The only reason why they beat the Heat was with Toom. In the play, he went off for 20 points. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had a big game. They need to have someone else go off like that, and I just don't see them. I feel like they're just getting punked by the Knicks. Like, our role players are better than their role players.
Right. Now, one of the things that has me concerned is it's now been 2 games. And I know that Nick Nurse is a pretty good coach, especially when it comes to defense. And the Sixers have been able to contain Jalen Brunson. So, but I love the fact that Josh Hart has been stepping up, and DiVincenzo and Hartenstein and all these other guys on the bench and so on and so forth. But we ultimately need Jalen Brunson to actually come out. And I think that the 76ers have been doing everything that they can to contain him. I mean, his stats in these last 2 games weren't good, even though they were lucky to pull out the win. So I would say that the only concern that I have is Jalen Brunson, because if they keep on double teaming streaming him the way they do, who knows if he's going to run out of gas? Or I don't know. I'm hoping that he actually lights a fire under up his butt the way that he's been playing these last 2 games, and then afterwards he just lights it up. I don't know. But that is my concern with Jalen Brunson so far.
Yeah, I think when it comes to Brunson, I feel like I think it's definitely the defense, but I think he's also just off. Like, like his shot, he's missing shots that he usually makes. Like even without the defense,
right,
he's had good looks at threes that he's just missing. He's missing shots that he usually makes, and how sports is. Like, it's a game of streaks too. You know what I'm saying? Like, some guys, when they're hot, they're hot. Sometimes when they're off, they're off.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping that he gets out of this cold streak, because, like you said, as much as Hart, Devo, and the rest of the guys step up, without Brunson being Brunson, we're not gonna go as far as we can go. And what I do love about him is that he's been either way, he's been hitting over 20 points. He just hasn't been as efficient as we expect him to be, as he's always been. But his rebounds, his assists, he's contributing in different ways, and he's still a threat. So it opens up the floor for the other guys. So so it helps that he's a multi-dimensional player, and he's not just a one-trick pony, because then that would really hurt us.
Is there anybody else in the East that scares you? Because if I actually feel like the Knicks are going to win this series in 5 or 6 games, and then they're going to move on to the next one. Is there any team that they could possibly face that scares you more than anything, or at least maybe not scares you? That's the wrong word, but maybe it's going to make you feel like they're going to give the Knicks a run for their money.
I think that I think if the Pacers beat the Bucks, the Pacers will give us trouble because they're a young and fast-paced team.
Yeah.
But it is the playoffs where everything slows down, so I feel like we'll have the advantage regardless, because that's why I believe they're down in that series against the Bucks, right? They lost the first game, I think it was, so they played the second game today.
Right.
I think they're down, and it's because when it comes to playoffs, the game just changes. It's not the regular season. It's not this free-flowing. It becomes a lot of sometimes half-court offense, and I feel like a team like the Pacers isn't built for that yet. And of course, the Celtics do worry me. I'm not worried about the Bucks, but the Celtics do worry me just because of their talent. But I also feel like if we go in there with our toughness, if we were to face the Celtics and our guys step up, and then the Celtics go through one of these moments where they're not hitting their threes because they're a team that depends a lot on their threes, or something's off with Porzingis because he's the injury always waiting to happen. I just feel like the Celtics have a lot of question marks, and they're not as sold as the Eastern Conference champions as people think they are. I feel like any team that goes against them the Eastern Conference Finals against them has an opportunity to beat them, because they have just to prove themselves as a team that can do it in the playoffs.
Nice. I like it. How do you think about the job that Thibodeau has done so far in this playoffs?
Bro, Thibodeau has been amazing, and I think he's not getting enough credit. I think that he made, there was a time when he didn't make as many adjustments as maybe as he should have, but I think he's been able to kind of adapt to what today's game is like. I feel like he's also gotten better as a coach. I know he was known as a defensive coach, which we have to give him credit for, but
yes,
I think when it comes, the most important thing is preparation, and the guys are playing hard for him, and I think that says a lot. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he's a way better coach than like a Doc Rivers, for example, who gets all this credit for being this, and it's just that one ring in Boston that really just carries weight for him, I guess. But when I look at our coach, I look at our coach and Tom Thibodeau and what he's done to this organization and the way that these guys play. Mm-hmm. They are a representation of how he plays. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's guys that maybe if they were on another team, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. But even like someone like Precious Achiuwa, right? Who came and he was a throw-in in the trade. The impact that man has had on the team,
coming off the bench,
in the playoffs. Yeah. Coming off the bench after Randall got hurt, that man stepped up and he was next man up, and he played a game that I'm sure Toronto was probably like, what's going on right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, we threw him in just like that. But again, it's like, sometimes sometimes the right guys fit into the right culture with the right coach, and that's what gets him that big ass contract,
Yeah, and I think that's where we got to give a lot of credit to Leon Rose, because a lot of people out there were really upset when they traded R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly to the Toronto Raptors, and then they got back picks, and then they were able to get Bogdanovich and OG Anunoby and so on and so forth. But they've been a big difference. Like when Anunoby is healthy, I forget the exact record. I think it's like 28-2 or something like that. So he's been a difference maker. He definitely fits their defensive plan and what they want to do. And listen, I love homegrown guys. I wasn't the biggest R.J. Barrett fan. I did like Emmanuel Quickly coming off the bench, and I thought he had something there. But it looks like the Knicks made the right moves in this instance, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree 100%. I also like with Quickly, like how big of a role was he gonna have here? Brunson's already our guy.
That's because if you want to look at it that way, that was probably Quickly's opportunity to actually step up and show everybody that he was the man. But Jalen Brunson said, "Hold my beer." So listen, it's a results-oriented business. I don't believe that somebody should get special treatment because of different circumstances. You do the job better than somebody else, then it goes to you. That's just the way it is, and that's how it played out with Jalen Brunson. And it's the proof is right there. I mean, people were chanting Jalen Brunson MVP all season long, and nobody was saying that for Emmanuel Quickly for the last 3 years that he was with the Knicks. So the proof is right there. All right, but anyway, Jose, thank you for calling, man. We got to get to the other callers, but I really appreciate you calling in. Thank you for supporting and everything. And also, I just want to give a big shout out to you in the sense that you've been doing a lot of great things for the community and for mental health awareness and so on and so forth. So anybody else that's interested in following you, tell us real quick where they can find you on social media, because I think that the content that you've been putting out is amazing, and we need more people like that to do more content like this.
Of course, and I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for the love. And if anybody out there wants to check out my content, it's on all social media apps at _the real Mozo, TheRealMozo, the real Mozo. Check it out and let's spread some love together, man. The world needs love, and it starts with us.
There you go.
Have a good night, bro.
All right, brother. All right, let's go Knicks.
Let's go, Nick.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, 862-621-9536 is the number to call in. Man, we got a bunch of great callers today, Steve, huh? Yeah, I'm loving the vibe. I'm loving the vibe that everybody's showing on the show today. Shout out to Ugo again from Yo BTV Sports and Ugo Boy Media, Ugo Boy Podcast. Excuse me, I gotta say the whole thing like a Tribe Called Quest. I know. Before we go back to the calls and talking some more sports, let's get a second to talk about our sponsors yet again at New York Posse. Let's take a second to talk about our partners at New York Posse. New York Posse is a brand that strives to inspire and push creative culture forward. Check out all of their outstanding apparel at NewYorkPosse.com and follow them on social media. You can also purchase them New York Posse apparel at Levitate in the American Dream Mall, as well as the Palisades Mall, Butterfly in Yonkers, and many other locations throughout the tri-state area. This cap right here is just one of the many great merch that you could find at any one of these locations. So thank you very much, New York Posse, for sponsoring the show. And also, I want to give a big shout out to Hackensack Brewing Company. Shout out to Mike Jones. Shout out to Joe Beningo from Oh the Pain Podcast. Thank you guys for supporting the show. Really cool recently, and we'll definitely look forward to having some more content with you guys as well. All right, 862-621-9536 is the number to call in. We'll get a little bit more of some Knicks and Nets calls right now before we head into baseball. A little bit concerned about the Yankees and the Mets, as I mentioned, and then of course we will get into the NFL draft. All right, so like I said, I'm excited for the Knicks. I don't think they're going to sweep the series. I think that this is going to be a tough game in Philadelphia. That is a tough place to play, and I think that the Sixers are going to have the advantage of actually being at home and having the crowd behind them and so on and so forth. It's going to be a little bit tougher for the Knicks to take this game in Game 3, but ultimately I think they're going to take it at the end of the day. But as far as everything else in the MLB, excuse me, the Yankees. I'm a little bit concerned about the Yankees. We're second right now in the AL East. The Baltimore Orioles are actually doing some great things. We're still a good team. We still have an over 500 record, but we're starting to see some little chinks in the chain going on right now. Even though we just got a notification right now that Judge actually hit a blast. Yeah, first inning blast. The captain wastes no time. 99, baby. But he has been in a little bit of a slump right now. I don't know what's going on. There's a chance that I think that he's not 100% healthy. And one of the things that we know about the Yankees is that they like to keep things flying under the radar. They don't like to give us all the truth, and so on and so forth. So if you told me that something's wrong physically with Judge, that he's not 100% healthy, because we know that health has been a big trouble for him going into his entire career, it would not surprise me if he's actually going through some kind of injury that they're not telling us, and they just don't want us to worry. And I think that they're just focused right now on Soto. I mean, Soto has been balling the lights out for the Yankees. So glad that they signed him, but we need to sign him long term because we got another baseball team across town that's possibly bigger pockets than the Yankees. He may be enticed to go somewhere else, but I'm let's just live in the moment right now. I love everything that the Yankees are doing right now, but the fact that they're not making any hits is kind of concerning to me. All right, let's go to the phones. Yes, who's there?
Jason is Erupt.
Yo, Erupt, Hip Hop Advocates is in the building. What is going on, bro?
What's the word on the curb? I heard Yankees, and I said, no, it's my time to call.
Well, you already know. As soon as I knew that you were just chomping at the bit for us to talk about baseball, so that you guys can actually get your take on it, because I know that's your forte right there.
No, man. Well, you seen Judges hit a home run.
Yeah,
you saw that.
Yeah.
I'm not
First
worried.
inning blast.
Judge, I don't think Judge we got to worry about Judge. I mean, the other day, he was running the bases, stealing bases like it was nothing. Like, the dude's fine. I'm not worried about him. The one I'm worried about is Torres and Wells. We got to do something about those two guys.
Well, I don't
know what's going on with them.
I'm also concerned about Rizzo. I mean, I understand he's up there in age and health has been a concern for him, but I don't know. It just feels like his head is not in the game at all. And I'm still kind of waiting for Volpe. I know he's going to be fine, but I'm still kind of waiting for that moment for Volpe to actually rise to the occasion, because I feel like he hasn't been really, contributing as of late either.
Yeah, no, he's been struggling a little bit, but I mean, at least he's not striking out.
No.
It's just bad luck. I think it's just bad luck. The balls ain't going through. In the beginning, he was getting a lot of balls through the infield, a lot of ground balls that were becoming hits.
Right.
And I mean, now they're finding defenders. That's been really the issue lately. But he's gonna be all right. But Torres got to go at the trade deadline. I don't know how we're gonna replace him, but we got plenty of kids coming up. There's a lot of prospects in the minors right now that are coming up, and they're coming up hot.
Right. I mean, let me tell you something, bro. I actually have a Gleyber Torres bobblehead at home, and I don't even want to look at it in my direction right now because he hasn't been producing.
Savage.
It's bobbling. It's bobbling. No, it's bobbling up and down.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But we said this actually earlier in the season with me and Ugo. We were talking about the Yankees, and especially in the beginning when we were red hot, when we had just swept the Astros, and it looked like we were on our way to being possibly the best team in all of baseball. It's still pretty early. It's still 162 game season, so we'll see. Mm-hmm. But I love the fact that Verdugo has been tremendous for us. And the point that I'm getting at, though, is that we still have to get healthy. So even with a roster like this that seems to be producing, even though they're not producing hits right now, can you imagine if Cole comes back and he's healthy, he's going to be 100%? How much more dangerous we can be, especially with that lineup?
Oh man, we're gonna be must see TV. We already are. The Soto, you watch Soto Batman, that's must see TV. But if these guys get going and we get Cole back, forget it, man. We're gonna run through the league. I can't wait till we see. We gotta see when we face the Orioles. That's where we're gonna meet our match.
Yeah.
That's where the real challenge is going to be, and we'll see where we're at. That's going to be the
test. That's going to be the test because again, we spoke about this before on the show, me and Ugo. We love what the Orioles are doing because they're doing right now what the Yankees were doing when they were actually having a winning formula up until Brian Cashman decided to play Brad Pitt in Moneyball and do his best, analytics impression. So, but I love what Baltimore is doing right now, and they are a team that's starting to scare me because they were really good last year. They didn't make it all the way, but they showed that they're a force to be reckoned with, and they're number one in the AL East right now, so that's going to be a big test when we face them. Absolutely.
Well, we're actually tied. We're tied for first right now.
Right.
I think
I'm
they
looking
lost
at the stats right now. Yeah. Yes.
We'll take over. We'll be back ahead once we win today. We'll be all right.
Right, and we should win today. It's just that one of the things that does annoy me about the Yankees sometimes, it doesn't happen often, but it happens every now and then, is that they lose to teams that they shouldn't. I mean, the Oakland A's are dreadful. They're a terrible team. Yep. Their ace is some guy named Blackburn. I never heard of him before, and he's their ace pitcher. They don't even run Rio Stadium. They don't even know if they're going to stay in Oakland this year or next year, and they're obviously in rebuild mode, not just from a team standpoint, but from a culture standpoint and even a location standpoint. And we still lose to them. I mean, listen, I understand in sports and anything can happen, just like in football, any given Sunday. I mean, I'm a Jets fan. Sometimes I've seen games that we should have never won. We had no business winning and we still did it. But I'm just like, against the A's, really? I mean, they're dreadful. Yeah. They're not going anywhere.
There shouldn't be no one-run games. It should be like 10-run blowouts. It shouldn't be 1-1. It shouldn't be winning by a run or losing by a run. We should be blowing them out the water by 5-10 runs.
Right.
Easily. Bunch of nobodies. We're getting rocked by a bunch of nobodies.
Right. But
man.
what about the Mets though? Like, what's your take on the Mets? Because we all expected them to be dreadful, a lot more dreadful than what we saw on paper. But they've actually been pulling out, it's a surprising team so far in the season. I understand it's early, but they're not looking as terrible as I thought they were going to be.
No, they definitely shocked the hell out of me, especially with their 0-5 start and where they're at now. I mean, their lineup is good. Their lineup has been good. It's everybody's worried about their pitching, and somehow they figured it out. But hey, you got another Yankee managing. That's why. That's why they figured it out.
Give him a Savage real quick. Give him a Savage. Matter of fact, give him a Don DeMarco while you at it.
No, but I think the Mets are going to be decent. I think they might sneak in. They might sneak into like third or second wild card at most. They're definitely not. They're not overcoming the Braves and the Phillies.
Right. Now.
No way.
No, absolutely not. Now, how do you feel about Soto? I mean, obviously we love him being a Yankee and so on and so forth, but are you confident that he's going to stay Yankee going forward, or do you think that the Mets might be a little enticing?
Just look at him. Just look at him. Look at him at the plate. Look at him on the field. That man is not going anywhere, man. They're gonna lock him up. What, 50? What's 50 mil? 14 years till he's 39. That's what, 700?
Cannon.
And I feel that way too. But my problem is that why can't they just do it now so we don't have to worry about it later on? I mean, I understand that there's moments in sports, not just baseball, but in sports where they'll give the front office will give a player like a prove it deal. But I think Soto's already proved it. Give him his bag. He deserves it. He loves being here.
He's already. He has, but you know what it is? Look what happened to Shane Bieber. We almost traded for him.
Yeah,
we almost traded for Shane Bieber.
Oh.
And look where he blew out. He blew out his arm. Look at we would have gave up a bunch for him. We would have been screwed. That's what they're waiting. They want to make sure he's going to make it to the end of the year.
Exactly. So yeah, listen, I say give him his bag right now. I will be all for it if he wants to buy a chain of bodegas on Washington Heights right there and then and there with that bag. Chopped cheese for everybody. Let's go Yankees.
For real, no, my man, we're gonna lock him up. He's not going anywhere, man. Trust me.
All right. Well, Erupt, thank you for calling, man. I really appreciate it. But before we go, I just want to let you know, man, that I really support. I really appreciate all the support that you guys have been doing between my show and Ugo Boy Podcast and Yo BTV Sports and so on and so forth and everything here at Bravery Studios. Looking forward to working with you again, man. We definitely got to get you on the show. And tell everybody real quick where they can find you.
It's the Hip Hop Advocates everywhere. TikTok, Twitter. Does anybody even use Threads anymore? Shit.
Watch the cursing.
On social media and YouTube, you can find the show, the Hip Hop Advocates Show. You all over YouTube, Spotify, all platforms.
All right.
Check it out. Appreciate you guys.
All right, and let's not forget streaming right now. You Go Boy featuring the Hip Hop Advocates, Captain Planet, now available on YouTube and all streaming services. Check out Crazy Track. All right, man. Well, catch you on the flip side, brother. Thank you for calling in.
All right. Bye.
All right. 862-621-9536 is the number to call in. So we just did a little bit of Knicks. We did a little bit of basketball. We did a bit of baseball. We still got some time left. So let's get into what everybody really is looking forward to, the NFL draft. Football is king. We know that. The NFL draft is tomorrow. I honestly don't know what's going to go on. We have all these mock drafts, and who knows what's going to happen. So, but you know what? Let's stick with the locals. Now, anybody that has been watching the show knows, unfortunately, that I'm a Jets fan. A lot of pain, a lot of suffering, even though give me a little bit of the can't wait in the JETS, just if you can see. All right, so the New York Jets are picking number 10 in the draft. There's been some rumors going around that they may be able to trade up because they want to get a wide receiver of their choice. You guys already saw what I mentioned with Ray earlier, that I think that I would go offensive lineman because you have Tyron Smith, you got Simpson, you also got the guy we got from the Ravens, Morgan Moses. There you go, Morgan Moses. But these guys are much older. They have an injury history. They're essentially on one-year deals. What's going to be the plan for 2025? I mean, we understand that we got to go all in, especially with Aaron Rodgers saying that we got to go all in, especially what happened last year. We got to make the playoffs. This drought is just unbearable. We got to get out of this playoff drought. We got to make it, and dare I say, win us a damn Super Bowl. But as currently constituted for the draft, a lot of people have been saying Brock Bowers, who's like projected to be not projected. He is the top tight end in the draft right now. I wouldn't be mad at that. My only concern is that I've seen him play in college, and I'm not knocking his game at all. But my problem is look who we have on our offensive staff. Nathaniel Hackett is still our offensive coordinator. He was easily the worst offensive coordinator in the league last year, and I don't like the way that he utilized tight ends. Yeah, Tyler Conklin had a couple of catches, but C.J. Uzama was basically a nothing burger, and Jeremy Ruckert is still, we're trying to figure out if he's actually worthy of being on the roster spot. So I don't know. I just don't think that with the plan that they use, and also with the history of Rodgers, he hasn't been really, the numbers aren't really there that shows that he really involves a tight end in the game plan. So if you want to go for inside, if you want to go offensive line, I'm all for it. If you want to maybe even trade up to go get one of these wide receivers and finally give Aaron Rodgers a wide receiver in his entire career, which he has never gotten in Green Bay or in New York. Also, to compliment Garrett Wilson and also Mike Williams, I say go for it. Absolutely, I would sign up for that in a heartbeat. Absolutely. I don't know if I would trade up for one, but you got to think that one would fall into their lap, especially since this is a very wide receiver heavy draft. But yeah, that's where I would go. I don't know what they're going to do with the second pick. Well, we don't have a second pick this year because we got rid of it to get Aaron Rodgers last year. But I honestly don't know. I would say that their biggest needs are wide receiver, definitely offensive lineman, and I guess if you want to add tight end, sure. But it's not something that I'm thinking is going to be a big need for us. And dare I say, maybe even draft a quarterback in the lower tiers of the draft, because listen, we got Aaron Rodgers. We don't know how much longer he's going to play. We got Tyrod Taylor as a backup, a very quality backup quarterback, but how healthy is he going to stay? And we know that he's not going to need for the long term. So are we just going to tank in 2025 as Ugo suggested? I hope that's not the case. We got to build up. I mean, if we have somebody like Aaron Rodgers in our building and we got to change the culture, why not start by bringing in somebody that I know? I actually heard that they've been tied to quarterback Jordan Davis. If they want to take him in like the 6th or 7th round, I'm all for it. I don't know exactly what the Jets are going to do, but I have no choice but to trust Joe Douglas at this point, because his last draft was questionable. I wasn't a fan of it, and there's been other drafts that I'm not a fan of, but he did give us Garrett Wilson, he did give us Sauce Gardner, he did give us Jermaine Johnson, and he did get us Breece Hall. So I guess we got to have a little bit of faith in Joe Douglas, but this is all or nothing right now. Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers have to figure this out. Otherwise, everybody's getting pink slips, because I feel like the torn Achilles of Aaron Rodgers last year was only just an extension for Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas specifically. Now, besides the Jets, a lot of things have been going on with what's going to go with the New York Giants. Daniel Jones is still their quarterback. I'm not a fan. And this is not coming from Giants hate, me being a Jets fan. I just don't see it. If I thought he was a quality quarterback, I would say so, but I don't think he is. And I've said it many times on the show before. If you are a quarterback that's in your 5th year and you're going into your 6th, and you've seen flashes and you think that he has these moments of he could be a decent quarterback or a backup or a lead, or dare I say generational music, quarterback, you have the X-File. There you go, Steve. But I just don't see it with Daniel Jones. And like, if you don't know what you have, then you don't have the guy. And I think that Shane and Dable need to finally get their guy. Because listen, when they got hired as the Giants GM and the Giants head coach, they were not all in on Daniel Jones. I mean, I guess they had to because he was already there, but he's not their guy. They didn't draft him. They didn't say that that's the guy that I want to have as my future quarterback for the foreseeable future. No, this is a fresh start. You went to the playoffs in your rookie year as a head coach. You won head coach of the year. You revamped that culture. Now, last year it fell off the rails, and I think a lot of it had to do with health concerns and the quarterback play. Tommy DeVito, he was like the king of New Jersey temporarily, but no, you guys got to get a long-term quarterback, and dare I say, try to find something that doesn't fit the mold of what has been usually the case with Giants. I mean, not every Giant quarterback for the future is going to be like Eli Manning. There's only one Eli Manning, and you should not try to continue to get that formula. If you have a guy that is mobile and it actually has length and has arm strength, then you go for him. Now, there's been a lot of talk that he's been linked to JJ Anderson, which I know that would make a lot of Giants fans ballistic, and I'm not particularly a fan of his either. But there's even rumors going around that there's possibility of talks of the New York Giants talking to the New England Patriots to trade up to number 3 to get Drake May. Yeah, I'm not particularly a fan of Drake May either, but that also goes to show that what did the Patriots have up their sleeve? Are they not really in love with the quarterbacks that they have so far going on, or are they just have they're I don't know, they're a tricky organization. I still don't think they're going to make any noise going on this season. I think they're going to be one of the bottom seeds of the division. I'm not scared of the Patriots at all. I'm not really scared of the Buffalo Bills, especially since they just lost one of their key players. But going back to the Giants, I think that you have to go for a quarterback. I mean, you have Brian Daboll is an offensive genius. He turned Josh Allen into an elite quarterback in Buffalo, and I think that he can do it if he has his own guy. And him and Sheen need to get together and don't just take a quarterback for the sake of taking a quarterback. If your guy is there, you find him, you take him, or you find a way to get him. That's what I would do, especially since you guys are heading in the right direction, it seems. All right, so I'm looking forward to the draft. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm excited. The draft is always an exciting time. But yeah, I think it's time to get into everybody's favorite segment. Don't you think, Steve? All right, cue the music! All right. This segment of Clown of the Week is brought to you by the First Class Second Place Podcast, the Ugo Boy Podcast, Bravery Studios, New York Posse, and Hackensack Brewing Company. All right. Wow. So this has been quite a week in sports. I don't know where to begin. I actually could have gone with the top 5 jokes, Clowns of the Week. I don't I can go in many different directions, but I think I have to go with this. So my Clown of the Week is Hunter Whittlestead, umpire for the MLB, for that egregious call of ejecting Aaron Boone. Now listen, I am not an Aaron Boone fan. I know that he's been ejected and he's not very well liked by the umpires and Major League overall. But the fact that they're putting up, the fact that they had the gall to actually eject him when they said that he was probably chirping and saying something to the umpires, and there's proof. We have actual proof on camera that he had his mouth shut. He was looking at his nails. He didn't say a word. And it was somebody up in the stands that said something, and then he gets thrown out. And then it's easy to make that mistake, but due to the fact that Hunter actually said, "I don't care who said it, you're out," what is the league going to do about this? That looks so bad on the MLB, on the umpires. Can you imagine if it was Angel Fernandez that did this? Oh my God, it would have been ballistic. It would have been crazy. But no, I think I think it's such a bad look. It's in a sport that's actually considered now the 3rd most popular major sport in America, and you guys are trying to find ways to get back to the glory days, America's pastime, and so on and so forth. And you have errors like this happening, and we all know that nothing's going to happen. You know they're going to sweep this under the rug. They're not going to hold them accountable. So shame on the MLB, specifically Hunter Whittlestead. You are my Clown of the Week. All right, round of applause real quick for myself right there, Steve. I feel like I need that. I'm going to take a little sip of water as well because I needed that. I brought that same energy.
Keep that same energy.
I was waiting for it too. All right, now, actually, just got some news that the MLB is upset about the Boone ejection. Okay, good. So maybe there actually is going to be something done about this. But listen, I also say that sorry doesn't fix the lamp, so they better do something to make up for this, because I thought what happened and everybody else thought what happened is egregious. But let's get into something positive. Let's do this. Cue the Chariots of Fire, Steve. All right, so I can go with a number of things here. I can go with Tom Thibodeau, the head coach of the New York Knicks. I could go with Jalen Brunson. I can go with DiVincenzo for that amazing shot. But honestly, I think I'm going to have to give my hero of the week to the one and only John Sterling. John Sterling, a legendary broadcaster for the New York Yankees. Up and retired, effective immediately last week. I think it was a shocker to everybody involved, especially to New York Yankee fans. But listen, if he felt like it was his time to go, it's his time to go. But I just want to say that we love you, John. We thank you for so much for all of you done for the New York Yankees as fans. Your calls are, bar none, some of the best I've ever heard. And that's just coming from a baseball standpoint, not just from a Yankee standpoint. You are a legend. You are beloved. And enjoy your time. Enjoy your retirement, because you certainly deserve it, my man. And one more time, I'm going to just do it for you. Ball game over. Yankees win. Yankees win. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of time. That is going to do it for this episode of Yo BTV Sports. Thank you so much to everybody tuning in. Thank you to all the callers that have been coming on through. So you can find me at I am Jason Enrique on all social media platforms. Don't forget to follow us at Yo BTV Sports on Instagram. Don't forget to like, subscribe on YouTube at Bravely TV. And also shout out to Ugo from the Ugo Boy podcast. Sports Talk is coming at you next. Thank you so much to New York Posse for sponsoring the show. And thank you once again for everybody tuning in. Thank you so much. And also, last but not least, thank you very much, Steve, for producing and making a great show as always. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go at it with a bang. Cue the Ric Flair, Steve. I know it's there. Cue it. It's coming. It's coming. I feel it coming. I can feel it. Oh, come on.
Whether you like it or don't like it, learn to love it because it is the best thing going today.
Peace.
Yeah. I ain't gonna say who's on the beat, cause you should know that by now. Check it. Hey, yo, music's on my mind.